doing a VSR video breakdown on Landon Day. I started with Landon probably, I want to say it was the middle of December that he started coming into me. So I didn't have a chance to test his velocity leading up to him actually starting with me. I didn't feel like a test in the middle of December was necessarily smart or in his best interest. But this video right here is the first time that I had him in with me, and I'm gonna show what the biggest thing is that we've been working on with him, which is his he had a really nasty arm action, just to say it how it is. I mean, he came in and told me that he'd had some elbow problems, and being this young, it just, it shouldn't be going down like that. So the thing that we've worked on the most with him, even considering what we've done in his pitching delivery, is really just his arm action, the way that he throws the ball, whether he's on the mound or not. And he has made some really big adjustments there. So we're going to check that out. I know this angle is kind of weird. I'm doing these videos in my hotel room in Washington, so just bear with me on that. Okay, so this was the first time that we had him, or that I had him in. And what you're going to see here is, one, we've got, this stab back here. This a stab is okay, as long as, once he's going down this way, that arm kind of goes from that stabbed position. Let's see if I can, if he went from there and kind of brought it up, it would be okay. But basically what he's going to do is he's going to go from here, and he's going to basically cheat right back up behind his head. And that just creates a ton of problems. So, I mean, you can't see, just by the way, I kind of have the video cropped. I mean, but his foot's like getting into the ground, like right there. I mean, so I talk about a 90-degree angle, okay. Yeah, but look at how inverted he had to invert everything to try to get there. So with this elbow pull right there, I mean, it's just, it just kind of hurts me to look at. And when he was telling me that he'd had elbow problems in the past, I said, well, I've got a pretty good idea as to why that might be happening. Let's see if I can get this resolution a little better. So anyway, I knew that, and you can see, I mean, his arm never really ever like lays back this way. Once that arm gets up into, say, 90, once we get here, as we go forward, going that way, we want this being like the hand to kind of like lay back and then be able to like catapult. But I mean, it's just straight. That there's really nothing there. I mean, all of that torque is going right now. If he had a ball in his hand, which it looked the same with the ball in his hand, that's all that stress is going right there. We're not even using the shoulder, so all the arm care and stuff that we do wouldn't have even made a difference, just because he's not using his kinetic chain in his upper body, if that's even the right way of saying it. He's not using it correctly, so we knew that right off the bat. Anyway, let's move forward and look at some of the adjustments that he has made. So this was kind of a drill that we did. Let's make sure I got this right. This was a drill that we did to kind of just reiterate all the stuff that we were wanting to do. I'd had him going through like a series of like step behinds and kind of like walking throws and some stuff to try to clean it up. But once I felt like he was doing a better job there, I allowed him to get on the mound and kind of start working on it. But what you can see there is he's kind of still got, we've still got this stab back here, which, like I said, is okay. I mean, if you watch, CC Sabathia is probably the biggest example I can think of someone who kind of stabs their arm behind him. But if you see when he gets a foot strike, his arm's in a perfectly good position. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. But as you can see here, he's still pulling, but I mean, it's getting better. All right. We've been talking about how we want to get this arm up. And I mean, I knew that if I could get him there, we were going to be pretty close. Because if we look, if I can get this to go right where I want it to. So, I mean, the angle is not necessarily the issue. The entire position is the issue, and the timing of it. So you can see that we're starting to get there a little bit. I mean, arms really not laying back at all, but I could tell that he'd been working on it and all that stuff. So I told him, I said, dude, work on this at home. Get a towel, send me some video. There was a few, we kind of hit or missed there for a couple weeks. And so I was just like, man, let's make sure that you're working on it. And this was like the first time that I really saw it. And I was like, whoa, dude, you're actually getting your arm up a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, just a simple drill like this, I mean, you can see that throw is very low intent, but never before was he actually getting any bit of this. You can actually see that arm laying back a little bit right there. You see what I mean? That's what I was talking about as the shoulders kind of turn in. He's getting this kind of external rotation here to eventually get that on the throw. So there it is right there. Nice. So let's go in. It's one thing to do it with a towel, at like 50%. It's another thing to obviously do this full speed, high intensity. Okay, but check this out. This was the day that I was kind of freaking out when I had him in. I was like, man, you're doing it. So for one, we've kind of still got that back position. I mean, but he's not taking his arm and just sticking it down. It's more of a gradual kind of come down into this position and then come up, which is what I was trying to tell him, because he was, as much as he was pushing there, he was pulling there behind his head. So I knew that if I could just get him to be fluent, that arm would kind of turn into that. But obviously we want the 90 degree. But let's get him into foot strike here. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so the angle isn't perfect, but like I said, even before I think in that other one, I had him at like 104. So if we go right off of his arm there, I mean, that's close. I mean, it's really, really close. And he knows that he's got to get that in a little bit. And the only reason that I want him to get it in is just because the less laxity that we have right here in this position, okay, the more that we can get, the more that we could maybe get, instead of being at that one, wherever it was, if instead of being there, if we could get more of that 90 degree there, we're going to have less laxity in the arm, and that's just going to put less tension in there, okay? He understands that, but just to kind of talk about it, look at his arm right here. Laid back. That's what I'm talking about. So when the arm goes in external rotation, now we've got a chance to kind of use the shoulder as kind of like the catapult, and this is the arm on it. Boom, coming forward. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And I mean, look at that leg. I mean, his entire, I mean, once we have addressed other stuff in his delivery, you know, but really this arm thing was the biggest thing, and the timing of him getting his arm on time has just kind of cleaned up everything else in his delivery. Okay, so let's go into this. This was one of his best days in with me. I think this was right before he had tryouts though, so we were trying to keep his volume down. So we did some towel stuff and just made sure that we had him dialed in. But I mean, look at that right there. Close, man. Really close. Great job. I mean, look at everything else. Pushed out there. Okay, a little bit of a crossfire here with his feet. But I mean, at least this back hip right here is starting to turn in. That his shoulders are back there, creating separation. So pushed out there, delayed there, which is going to inherently turn into kind of rubber band effect, whatever you want to call it. But look at that arm lay back. I mean, he's actually, I mean, look, legs straight. Wow. Solid job, dude. Okay, so anyway, that is pretty much his breakdown for now. Like I said, I took a series of, I don't know, maybe 8 different videos of him and just kind of picked out the ones that I thought showed the best progression or best adjustments that he's made through his progression. I'm going to get him up on breakdowns weekly and continue to build the rest of his delivery now that we're getting that arm to move consistently. But this is one of the adjustments that I'm happiest about with the athletes that I'm working with, just because that is something that is not easy to fix. I mean, a lot of guys don't have a problem in their natural kind of like arm slot. But this is something that is not, it's not easy to fix. And I knew it was going to be a challenge to try to get him to change those patterns, but man, he's done it. So good job, man. I will plan on seeing, these guys when I get back into town, and I will get them up for, a weekly video. Okay. Thanks.